5. Everybody, lock in. This one is ours for the taking. Take what you want and run away with it. Because you are powerful, and this is your year to shine. Shine, shine.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. It's your time to shine. I'm Jay Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
I like your voice better than hers, actually. It just, in my ears, I didn't enjoy all of it. It was just too close to my ears. Podcast listeners, I hope you liked it, though.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
I like your voice better than hers. Heyo.
And over yonder, making the magic happen. We rarely hear his voice, but it is great. Super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is. And here we are. Thanks to everybody joining us live on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, if you like our voices, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Lots to tackle here. Fun games. We're going to do a little Is This News? Looking at some headlines, debating whether or not they're newsworthy. But let's start by recapping last night's action with a little What You Got.
What you got? What you got there? What you got?
What you got there? First one, let's start with the top dogs. Donovan Mitchell scored 35 points as the NBA leading Cavaliers got a little revenge by beating the Pacers by 10 last night. Garland scored 24. Mobley, great, 22 and 13. Meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 32 points to lead the Thunder to the 118-102 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers, missing all three of their All-Stars. OKC shot the lights out from the floor in the first quarter. They shot 70%. They never trailed. So we got the Thunder hosting Cleveland tomorrow night. It's on TNT. So your first What You Got, I want to know, best team in the NBA. Is it the Cavaliers or is it the Thunder? Tass Mellis, where are you going?
Very difficult question. Started with the good one, Skeets. I'm taking the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they've got more top-end offensive talent. I think their offense is just clicking a little bit better, and they can surprise you as they did last night. I'm sure Indiana didn't know Donovan Mitchell was coming with a 19-point first quarter like that. I was surprised to see Donovan Mitchell has only had 3 30-point games since December 1st, like the last 6 weeks, because he's that damn good. But at the same time, that's what he's doing to make this team take another step. He's giving it to Garland. He's giving it to Mobley. And those are the guys who generally give it to you. So I think right here, right now, their offense is better than OKC's. Now, that could change very soon when Chet Holmgren comes back, because they haven't played all together. Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein specifically, because I love watching Isaiah Hartenstein pass. As I said yesterday, he's jumped up in assists per game for his career. 4.2 this season, and you see him up at the top, you know, the classic where the bigs hang out. And yesterday he had one for Jalen Williams, who was barely in front of the defender in front of him. I mean, it looked like a wide receiver just getting a tiny bit of space on a quarterback, and Hartenstein led him. It looked beautiful, and it looked beautiful in the preseason when him and Chet were working it. So I do think their offense is going to take another step, but I think in a playoff series right here, right now, I would take the Cavs, because, you know, defenses in the playoffs, they step up a little bit, and I think the Cavs would step up a little bit, but I do think their offense and watching Mitchell just be able to take over in so many different ways. I mean, what he was doing yesterday, he was just coming down the floor, stepping into threes. He was going from the right side of the floor to the left side of the floor with his up and over. He was doing everything, just bodying guys. So I would take them right here, right now.
Where you go, TK? Cavs just beat the Thunder, of course. We're going to get the rematch tomorrow night, but would you pick Cleveland or would you pick OKC?
I would pick Cleveland as well. Like you said, they beat the Thunder and they're whole. So I think it's kind of an easy choice right now. We haven't seen the full-strength Thunder team, which is pretty impressive considering how great their record has been, how awesome their defense has been, but I'm with Tass. I think it's going to take more adjustments to get Chet and Hartenstein playing well together, just because they haven't played with that type of player. Look how long it took the Cavs to figure out how playing two bigs. And when you look at it now, kind of similar setups, right? Like Mobley is the Chet Holmgren, more on the perimeter, handles the ball. Hartenstein and Allen, more rim-based, good passers as well. It took Cleveland 3 years, basically, to get the best out of both of these guys. So I don't think it's going to be an instant thing with the Thunder to go two bigs and suddenly just figure it out offensively. They're a team that can have spacing concerns anyways. Suddenly they're playing 2 7-footers, even though Chet can shoot it a little bit. I just think they're going to have to figure stuff out. I also got questions like, is Dort really going to be able to shoot in the playoffs? Is Casey Wallace going to shoot in the playoffs? Caruso's been bricky this season. Jalen Williams hasn't necessarily been an efficient second scorer. I feel more comfortable with the Cavs right now, but certainly the Thunder have the best player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which definitely helps. And, it'll really come down to matchups. If these two teams play each other, they might go 7 games. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think Tass is right. The thing that I respect the most out of these teams, the defense for the Thunder and the Cavalanches for the Cavs. You saw it last night. The Pacers did a great job getting back in this game a couple of different times, but 18-5 run in the third quarter for the Cavs, and then they ended the game basically with a 12-4 run in the fourth quarter. It just feels like it's always coming at some point. They're just going to start pouring on the points. I was impressed with Cleveland last night. They had kind of a dud against the Pacers the last time. I think it was the first time all season they lost the turnover battle and the shooting battle. You could tell the way Mitchell came out. It ain't happening again.
Yeah, Cleveland was leading Indiana by about 5 points with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then Cleveland, the Cavalanche happened. It was a free throw, and it was 3 threes. Just like that, it's a 10-0 run. Sort of, that's a huge lead now. Suddenly it's 15. Pacers sort of got back into it a little bit, but never took the lead. So can OKC Thursday night survive those Cavalanches? Because, man, Cleveland looked awesome as that number 1 offense against the number 1 defense that we've even seen ever in the play-by-play data. Shout out to Schumann for that. That's how good OKC's defense has been. But the Cavs put 129 points in 101 possessions. Super efficient against obviously the best defense here we've seen in a long time. So what happens now that it's in OKC? Because obviously that game was in Cleveland. Because when you look at the similarities, obviously Cavs, number 1 offense. Thunder, number 1 defense. Both incredible home teams. They've lost 2 games, both teams, at home. So awesome there. They're on like a hot streak, winning 9 of their last 10, both teams. So this is perfect. They get a little rest here again. It's not a back-to-back situation for anyone. Just like the last game where they had even more rest. I'm hyped. I'm very excited for this one on TNT to see how OKC fares after getting beat by the Cavs in Cleveland.
Yeah, I like how the Cavs strictly have grown. As Trey was pointing out, they have to play together. There's no doubt about it. You have guys like in the first matchup that took over for the Cavs that weren't named, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, Evan Mobley. They can do it. And you saw it yesterday, how comfortable they felt. Darius Garland was battling an injury. He went to the bench. They were working on his leg. He came out. He looked tired physically. He looked like he had old man eyes. He looked so tired. But you know what he did? He won the basketball game. When Donovan Mitchell was covered, they have a guy now who has grown over the last couple of years that can handle the ball. Evan Mobley has grown tremendously as well as a passer. And then as the Cavalanche happened and they sealed this game, he started beating his chest. Every time they have a Cavalanche, him, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, why don't they just beat their chests over and over again? I mean, it's a great celebration. And they're waiting for the postseason to do it. But it just seems like those guys have done it, period. And Donovan Mitchell, I know, he's the only guy that really has gone to a conference finals. He did it with Utah, so he is their, the air quotes leader, but he's doing it so quietly this year, and that's what makes them so awesome. As I said, the 2 guys who've had 40-point games for this team, Garland, Mobley. Mitchell's been chilling. I mean, as high as 35. He'll get there, obviously, but he is chilling while everybody else does their thing.
And he's going to be in the torture chamber again on Thursday night, but it didn't matter in the first one because Garland was awesome. The bigs were amazing. We talked nonstop about Mobley and Jared Allen after that game, and they hit those corner threes, all their role players. Will they go 8 for 14 on their corner threes tomorrow night? We'll find out. If they do, I like their chances to take both of these games against them. If they don't, it's a different story, and man, I can't wait. Let's keep it moving.
Just one thing. Good side for the Pacers in that game. Tyrese Halliburton's injury isn't a hamstring injury. Apparently, according to reports, it's just a groin. That's better than having the hamstring. I know groins. You can't. Is it good to have a groin injury? No, Tass, you dumbass. But I do think year to year, as we talk about Halliburton's injury, it's always been a hamstring injury. So maybe we got the Zion vibes, who's always had a hamstring injury. But I think that is a better sign that it's a different injury. And maybe you can ask him, Skeets, next week in Paris.
How's the groin?
Yeah,
Jay Skeets from No Dunks at the Athletic. How's your, dick area feeling? How's the groin, Halliburton? First question I'll ask for sure.
Yeah. You can say dick. You can say butt, muscle.
I could say Hibberts. Plays for the Pacers.
Nice. I don't even know what it means. All right, also in this game, though, we saw a little NBA history. Bennedict Mathurin got 3 technical fouls.
Yes. Explain it for those that maybe didn't catch the game.
This is an unbreakable record. 3 technical fouls in one game. He got 1 for dunking and hanging on the rim. apparently that's an unsportsmanlike, doesn't count against you, because
Right.
then he got 2 later on after arguing a foul call. He got called for a foul, got really upset, teed him up quickly for disagreeing, and then he chased down the referee, bumped her. That's your second tech. That's your third tech. See you later, but that's the second one that counted. I didn't know that hanging on the rim was kind of just like a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, right.
They should do it more.
Well, I mean,
Plus team a point, who cares?
What a pathetic call, though, for him. I felt like that was an insane call.
It wasn't even
for
a
the
nice
hanging on the rim.
dunk, really. He just pulled himself up a little bit, and that's it.
Am I crazier? In the same game, I saw Donovan Mitchell hang on the rim way longer. Because Donovan does the thing where he dunks and he like holds on with one arm.
He's a spider.
And I don't care. Don't call that. Like, who gives a crap? But
weird.
the Mathurin one was, to me, was like sort of the fast break variety where it's like, I'm going to hold on a little bit so I don't go flying. And my legs don't go, whipping out underneath me and I land awkwardly. That's all it looked like to me. But it was a quick, unsportsmanlike tech.
Yep.
Now, when he bumped the referee, you deserve that. Now, I know he apologized to that official specifically, so we're going to be friends moving forward. We will find out if he gets fined, or I don't think he'll get a suspension, but we've seen before when you make contact with the ref, you can get a game or at least dock some money, so we'll see. He was definitely frustrated, maybe still from the unsportsmanlike hanging on the rim. It just kept bleeding over.
They keep calling that in random situations. It's weird.
Insane to me. Like, I only get it when you're really trying to you dunk on a guy and he's there and you're hanging on, and even then you're like, well, I don't want to fall because I might land awkwardly on his feet. It's like
when it's taunting.
You'd have
Is
to
what
be
you're saying.
literally doing hand push or pull-ups on the rim multiple times to warrant it, in my opinion.
And guess what? It's still only a 1-point technical foul, and it doesn't count against your record. Do it.
Make it worthwhile, I guess, if you're gonna do it.
Do a kip up.
Yeah. Whoa. All right. Next one here. Jamal Murray scored 32 of his season-high 45 points in the first half to help lead the Nuggets to an easy victory over the Mavericks. Kitchener's finest shot 18 for 26 from the floor, hit 5 threes. Here in the South, Trae Young also hit his season high for points. He finished with 43 as the Hawks beat the Suns 122-117. Phoenix has now lost 11 straight times in Atlanta. That caught me by surprise.
What? Yeah.
I'm like, what? Okay.
2014.
I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah,
But
doesn't seem
it
right.
is.
The last time Phoenix won in Atlanta, Dark Horse by Katy Perry featuring Juicy J was number 1 on the billboards.
God, that's a long time ago.
That song. That's
And then
a long time ago.
finally, Giannis had 30 points, 13 assists, and 11 boards. His 50th career triple-double. Bucks snapped the Sacramento Kings 7-game win streak. So, Trey, you can go first here. Most dominant performance from last night. Jamal Murray, 45. Trae Young, 43. Or Giannis with his 50th triple-double. Who you got?
This is tough. These are all great performances, but for me, I'm going with Jamal Murray. It just looked like he was set on easy mode last night. I don't even know if he broke a sweat playing against the Dallas Mavericks. He outscored Dallas's starters 32-21 in the first half, 45-39 for the game.
Wow.
Pretty simple stuff. My favorite thing to see in this one was all the post-ups he had on Spencer Dinwiddie, just getting nasty down low. I mean, I guess they're probably about the same size, really, Murray and Dinwiddie, but it looked like he was a beast down there, pushing him underneath the hoop, scoring pretty easily. It didn't look like Murray took a single bad shot on the night. He was so dominant that Jokic didn't even take a shot until the second quarter of this game.
Right.
Crazy stuff. So yeah, when you see Jamal Murray like that, that's the best game he's played this season. Only the second time he's gone over 30 points this season. Looked like the Murray of old. Looked like the Murray at the start of last year. Like, it's very weird to look back and see, oh yeah, Jamal Murray, career highs last season. In points, field goal percentage, all that stuff. The playoffs obviously didn't go well. We know what happened in the Olympics, but guess what? That's not in the NBA. Slow start to this season, but he looked good in this one. The Nuggets are rolling a little bit here, and Dallas, they just didn't look like they were totally into it. Kyrie Irving came back. He didn't really have much to offer Dallas, and Murray just looked like the best player on the court, and he was playing alongside Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, I wrote down 4 words you never want to hear when you're playing the Nuggets as the opposition. Murray is feeling it, because we heard that on the call a couple times. He was lights out. It's just been a while since we had seen that. Now, the Nuggets never stopped believing in him. He had a disappointing postseason. He looked really bad for Team Canada, as Trey said. And they gave him the new max contract extension, and he started slowly. He was averaging under 18 points per game here, wasn't shooting all that well. He even talked about it after the game. Well, Jarrett Greenberg's like, yeah, this was by far my best game. Yep. Like, I haven't played well at all. And there was the whole Shaq inspired him in the pre-game TNT studio show. But over the past month or so, Murray has slowly started getting to go, and the three-pointers dropping here. He's getting to the rim a little bit more. He's finishing at a higher clip there. And that percentage, that the points per game, is starting to tick up here.
Yeah, over that 18-game span here that the Nuggets have gone 13-5, he's 22 points per game, 47 from the floor, and 43 from three.
Yeah, there you go.
They're pretty good. That's something that kind of flew under the radar, even for us, definitely for me as a basketball geek. I didn't see him playing that well. Now, 22 points, I guess it's not a huge number, but it is the effective number that Shaq was pertaining to. That's what he was saying. He was basically saying, I know what it is to be like Jokic, the guy. We just need the guy around me, like him and Kobe, to get to the top, baby. And he needs, he definitely needs Jamal Murray to be that guy. But he was super duper efficient in this one. I was surprised by Trae Young's game, though, because as good as he's been, as great as he's been this season, his numbers haven't been extremely efficient. They were in this one, and that was without Jalen Johnson, the guy that Trae Young took a step back to give another step to, like to elevate Jalen Johnson's game this season. He's sacrificed for that guy. No Jalen Johnson in this game, no DeAndre Hunter in this game, and Trae was awesome. Trae he was the focus, I'm sure, of the Phoenix Suns, but at the same time, Trae hasn't been all that efficient. And second thing, the Phoenix Suns don't have an identity. The Phoenix Suns absolutely.
Their identity is we don't play defense. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it was clear here in Atlanta. They just don't know what they are. They just don't know what they're doing. Period. And Onyeka Okongwu was grabbing offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound against the Phoenix Suns. Onyeka Okongwu is a backup center who just kept going, grabbing boards. That guy had, what was it, 10 offensive rebounds to have for his 2020 game.
That's a lot of roast beef.
That's a lot of roast beef.
That's a ton.
Off the Atlanta Hawks bench to have 20 boards like that. That's the first time any Atlanta Hawk has ever done that off a bench. But they do have depth, and Onyeka Okongwu is good. He said he basically, I'll paraphrase for him. He said he basically liked the snowstorm here in Atlanta because it gave him 4 days off, and that's why he had so much energy. Onyeka the Rim Wrecka, as he was called yesterday. But the Suns are so bad. They're so bad.
I saw a tweet going around last night. The Suns' defense, throw that in air quotes, allowed the Hawks to drop 30-plus points in 3 of the 4 quarters last night. 64 times this season, they've allowed 30-plus points. It's like 41% of the time in a quarter, 30. Now, I know it's today's NBA. A lot of points. I get that. But still, come on. Like, that's a number you got to hit because you're, like, feeling good and you're getting to the rim. You're hitting shots because you're getting open looks. It's just non-existent.
No.
And not that we thought it would be an elite defense, like the best in the league or anything, but that's embarrassing.
Yes.
Very embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like a bad loss. The Suns are one of the most disappointing teams
Yeah.
by far this season because, you thought Budenholzer might switch it up, fix it a little bit, but...
Are they the most disappointing team? I mean, Philadelphia's up there, but they have been injured. The Suns have been pretty healthy.
Yeah.
I would maybe go with the Suns here because they've had Durant, Booker, and Beal healthy and playing together right now. They even had a lead in this one for a little bit, and they just can't finish it off because, like you're saying, they don't play any defense. They take no pride on that end. Trae Young took 31 shots. They knew who was going to shoot every single time, and it didn't matter. It was usually Dunn guarding him, too slow, and then Beal was trying to stick Trae Young as well, and that was just not going well at all for them. So I thought Trae's game was, of these three, the most needed because no DeAndre Hunter. Bogdanovic was off in this one. They had one guy who could score, and he scored a ton of points.
Yeah, luckily he had teammates diving on the floor like Vit Krejci, doing cool things, needed things, unlike the Phoenix Suns on the other side that just weren't playing all that hard, as I said. If a backup center in Onyeka Okongwu was able to do that over and over and over again, they just don't have a focus. Phoenix does not have an identity, period. It's like going into an alcohol store or going in and showing your ID at the bar. That's just a silhouette. It's blacked out. It's like you're playing Pirtle. There's nothing on that identification. It's
I see.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's nobody. It is literally nobody. Mike Budenholzer just can't get through to this team. All you got to do is play a little harder. I mean, obviously Durant was coming down the floor, Booker was coming down the floor, hitting shots, and this was a game until the end. But there was one team that was playing with a little bit of energy, and Beal left the game too for a bit with an injury. It just doesn't seem like they have anything going on there.
Giannis, we will show him a little love here. Monster triple-double as the Bucks took care of business against the Kings. Sacramento Kings probably would have been the most disappointing team in the league, but obviously rallied after they fired Mike Brown, and they sort of went on the winning streak under Doug Christie, but they get their streak snapped there by Giannis, really, in that Bucks team.
So Giannis was straight up dominant in this one, too. He had the best all-around game of these three players, and it was just like following a decision chart, it looked like, for Giannis. It's like, oh, you're off me? I'll knock down a jumper.
Yeah.
Oh, you're up on me? I'll throw an easy lob over the top. There's nobody else on the Kings that's over 7 feet tall. So if Sabonis was out on Giannis, Brook Lopez was just standing, arms up. Hey, throw it up here. They did. He dunked it. No problem. If Sabonis was near the rim, he was in the basket. Giannis is a strong guy. Domantas Sabonis is one of the strongest guys in the league, and he looked like a child next to Giannis. Anytime Giannis would get his shoulder at him, it just looked like Giannis had the answer, no matter what the Kings were throwing at him. Awesome game for him.
Yeah, some pretty passes too with Brook. You'd think the Kings would be able to outrun this team, not having the size, but having a faster team. And yeah, Giannis was just Giannis. It wasn't surprising to me because he's freaking awesome right now.
Yeah.
I will say one worry, I think, for the Dallas Mavericks playing the Denver Nuggets is that they're 2.5 games above 11th right now. It ain't all that much. Kyrie Irving came back. That should be a good sign. But he doesn't feel good.
No.
I mean, he said, I've never had back problems before, and that bulging disc, my last almost 2 weeks have sucked, is what he said. And he described the pain as being so excruciating that he couldn't meditate.
Damn.
ESPN said he literally said he got off the couch to play this game, and he was 4 of 18, so I don't think he's going to be all that good for this next nearly month that they're not going to have Luka as well. So that's the bad sign, is that combine that with Derek Lively leaving this game with an ankle injury, that's a lot of bad signs for Dallas.
Yeah, they are banged up right now. Final one here in What You Got, though. Trey Murphy III scored 32 points. Zion was back. He added 21 in pretty limited minutes. Pelicans beat the Bulls by 6 in Chicago. New Orleans, last in the Western Conference, improved to 9-32. But in Portland, Cam Johnson returned from a 5-game absence with the right ankle sprain. He helped push the Nets over the Blazers, but the story sort of from this one was Scoot Henderson. Remember him? He had a career-high 39 points. He was rolling for stretches of this game. So, bigger surprise, the Pelicans over the Bulls or Scoot going for a career-high 39? What you got?
I got to go with Scoot's 39. Zion looked incredible against the Bulls, and I'm sure Trae will get to that, but I got to go with Scoot, who was starting in this game with a couple guys out, and the shots were just falling. I mean, to have a career high, to have a career first half high, it wouldn't stop. He hit a shot from three-point land that hit the front rim and just bounced in. He looked like an incredible player out there, and something that we've all been waiting for when it comes to Scoot Henderson, period, in general. And it sure helps. Yeah, a couple of the guys, I think, without Denny Avdia, who had been balling until the last couple games when he had a couple stinkers, but like 54 and 40 over his last 13 games before those two, and I don't count those last two because I didn't want to, because I like Denny Avdia's game. But Shaedon Sharpe has been really, really, really good recently, and it just helped with no Jeremy Grant, no Denny Avdia. Scoot just had a game. It's surprising because the Brooklyn Nets, as much as they want to lose, Jordi Fernandez's team is just, they play too hard and they win. And so it was surprising to see Scoot be able to score 39 points against that team.
Yeah, if the Nets really want to get into the capture the flag lottery teams, they're going to have to trade Cam Johnson. You obviously see the impact that he has on this team, and they ended up rolling the Blazers there in Portland. Great second half from the squad. But are you going the Pels beating your Bulls or Scoot's 39?
Obviously Scoot.
Yeah.
The guy has had, that's his fourth 30-point game of his career. He went 8 for 10 from 3.
Yeah.
It usually takes him 8 games to make 8 3-pointers. He's a 30% shooter. He started, they were giving him the 3 the entire game. And at first, it was like pump fake, and then finally shoot it. Whoa, it went in? I guess I better keep taking these.
Right.
By the end of the game, he was just shooting them like it was no problem. That was impressive. They said on the broadcast that the first quarter, I think he finished with 16. It was his first double-digit scoring quarter of the season. And while watching the highlights to this one, I noticed that not a single point he scored was when the Blazers were in the lead or tied. So this is one of the emptiest 39-point games you'll ever see. But he did it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's surprising, because Scoot Henderson is not having a great season. But this was a great game for him. As for the Bulls, it's not a surprise if they win or lose any game, the way they play.
Right.
But you look at the box score, and it is kind of weird that they lost this one. The Bulls took more shots. They made the same amount of threes as the Pelicans did. They shot a better percentage. They out-rebounded the Pelicans on both ends of the floor. Turnover battle. Bulls turned it over 15 times. Pelicans turned it over 10. Not that crazy of a difference, but the Bulls just couldn't defend without fouling. Chicago went 9 of 12 at the free throw line. New Orleans went 21 for 26, including Trey Murphy III, who went 12 for 12 at the line. He's having a really good season.
Yep.
Down year for the Pelicans, obviously. He is the bright spot. He's averaging a career high 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, a couple assists, taking a lot of threes, not shooting as good of a percentage, but he's really been able to figure out how to attack closeouts, which is why he's scoring the most points in the paint he has in his career, shooting more free throws. He's got a higher usage percentage right now. At least he's playing to expectations, I would say, though he has been hurt this season, just like everybody else on the Pelicans. So, yeah, they've got their team as together as they can get it right now, so they look better.
Yeah. Wasn't it Mama Murphy, Trey Murphy's mom, who was like giving him crap for missing free throws earlier in the year? I just checked. He hasn't missed a free throw since December 27th. Hey. So he's locked in at the line doing it for Mama. Yeah. So, he's rolling right now after, helped out, of course, by the 12-by-12 at the line last night against the Bulls. Yeah. And Zion, look. we got to do this every couple weeks, every couple months, whatever you want to call it. When he plays, he's sick, and then he's gone, and then we go, oh, that's disappointing. And then he comes back, and he plays, he's sick, and we just repeat this.
This was new to me to watch him block a 3-point shot. That was very nice. But he was focused, and he was focused on getting everybody involved to have 9 assists. And Trey Murphy, has taken another step in his game. And I guess that is the positive here from this season, is that Trey Murphy really is a new player. He's evolved, and he has been able to put it on the floor and been able to score other than just a 3-point shot in this game. To have 32 points on just 20 shots is great because of the free throw shots that he put in. But he is the bright spot. Yves Missy. He's good. He's part of the Rookie of the Year talk. Yep. But that's it. Other than that, bad season.
The only other thing from this game, he got to 25 points in the end, but Zach LaVine had a very quiet first half. I think he only had 2 points at the half, and this guy has been rolling over the last couple of weeks. Like, his numbers, go check out the Basketball Reference page for the last, 10 games for Zach LaVine, on fire. TK knows in terms of scoring and efficiency, really all season long, if we're being honest, but even went to the next level over the last little bit. But he struggled in this one. Again, got to his points, I think 10 of 22 shooting, so not the most efficient, but I bring him up because, Zion Williamson's name sort of in trade talks. Obviously, Brandon Ingram's name. Zach LaVine, a very popular name in trade talks. Will he be moved? Vucci baby, of course, every year here now with the Bulls. 22 and 15 for him. So we'll see as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. We'll get into that in a second. Any other notes?
Yeah, there was another big surprise in Bulls Pelicans. Patrick Williams had a dunk. His first since December 16th. Patrick Williams is in his 4th NBA season. He's 6'7", 215 pounds. How many dunks do you think he has this year? He's played 30 games.
This year?
This season. How many dunks? Including last night.
6? Maybe that's high. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like if he hasn't had one in a month.
I can't think of him dunking a lot either.
I'd say 3.
4.
Oh, my God. How many in his career? Do you know? You said 4 years he's played, obviously injured a lot.
4 months. He should have had one every month.
He's got 149 dunks in his career.
Okay.
29 last year, 59 the year prior. He had 7 his second season, but he went up for a dunk and got hurt and was out for basically the rest of the season after that one. 51 his rookie year. So I know he can do it, but does he want to? Doesn't feel like it.
In his head.
Not a lot of motor for Patrick Williams.
No, that's not his strong suit.
No, slow motor.
Okay, let's move from what you got to Is This News? All right, I pulled some headlines. Going to throw them to you guys here at the table, to everybody joining us live on YouTube, to the podcast listeners. You tell me whether or not they're newsworthy, and we can break them down. First one, Shams. The headline reads from ESPN, Jimmy Butler reiterates trade demand to Heat's Pat Riley. So according to Shams' sources, Jimmy Butler told Pat Riley face-to-face that he will not sign a new deal in Miami, and he intends to only use his $52 million player option in the offseason for a 2025-26 as a trade maneuver. So these two have met. Jimmy says, look, you got to move me, and I'm going to try and use my player option here as my only sort of piece of leverage, I guess. Is this news, though?
It's absolutely news. The fact that he says, I'm going to tell the team that acquires me that they can have me for another year, for sure. I'm not a rental, essentially, is what this report is saying. So if you want me, come and get me. You get me for a year and a half. That's all right. It's better than, number one, being a rental, and number two, saying you got to sign me for a long-term deal, right. Which might be part of the whole thing.
Yeah. He could still get to there.
Yeah, 100%. But Shams coming through here. I think this is important, that Jimmy Butler is telling whoever it is, Golden State, Phoenix, we can have me for the next year because I'm going to be good enough to take this team to the postseason as well and be there.
Yeah, I think that is the interesting part of it, because if it's a year and a half trade for Jimmy Butler, I think that opens up other teams to be interested. Like we saw Sam Amick report that the Milwaukee Bucks might still be in the mix for Jimmy Butler, right? Like apparently there was reporting that Jimmy's people said no to the Bucks, but now there's reporting saying they didn't say no to the Bucks. Right. So there are teams that it's like, it would be a big deal to trade for Jimmy Butler. You would have to give up a lot, but if you're getting him for a year and a half, that's more exciting than if you're only getting him for a year. But it does feel like Jimmy wants the Suns and the Suns want Jimmy. The question then is, do the Heat want Bradley Beal? Does Bradley Beal want out? Is there a third team that could kind of get in the mix to help facilitate this thing? And then the big question, like, what actually is going to happen here when Jimmy Butler's suspension ends? He could play Friday against the Nuggets. That'll be the end of the suspension.
Yeah.
And he says he'll report and play.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they were
the last two games he played.
Yeah,
he took like 7 shots total or something.
Right. And the Heat, by all accounts, were not happy with his performance.
Right.
How locked in how locked in he wasn't into those games. Yeah, I don't know. You just tell him to stay home, and like, we're working the phones right now. We're trying to find a deal. But then Pat Riley apparently hasn't shown a lot of urgency in these trade talks. But yeah, Jimmy's saying, look, if you want to get something in return, you better get to work here and move me, because I'll be peacing out if you don't. So it's up to you. So it's good. I mean, look, it's always going to get a little more awkward before it doesn't. With Jimmy Butler, I think. he thrives in these situations. I think he likes to be awkward.
He's like, yeah, I'll report. Just watch. What's he going to do?
Yeah, and what is he going to do? That's the question. Because Tyler Hero has been vocal and saying that we want to be different, and we want to be different. He said, we're rallying around each other, making it about the guys that are here now. We got enough. That's what he said. And now Jimmy Butler could come back on Friday. That's some drama. I think yes, Jimmy might be asking for it, and he's going to get it. I mean, they are having a good road. They're 3-2 on a current road trip. That is solid for the Miami Heat. Jimmy's going to make it solid but fun. I don't know what he's going to do.
So do you think he'll actually play again in a Heat uniform? I don't know. I think like all these things that the players are saying, what we've heard. I know, we don't know, but it almost sort of, you'd risk injury, of course, with Jimmy Butler. There's that part of the equation. Obviously, the vibes of your team. Your whole like thing is Heat culture, like next man up. You don't want to be with us. Screw you. You're sort of dead to us. So like, just stay away from us. I think that's maybe the way they will approach it.
But what if he balls out?
Well, yeah.
Pat Riley's like, yeah, I've been showing no urgency because I got 3 weeks. Come play awesome for 3 weeks and get some team to want to trade for you. But there is the culture aspect of it. And certainly, like, Hero and Bam are like, this guy's been a distraction. We've got clarity going forward, and this would only muddy the waters for them.
Yeah, and there's 3 weeks until the NBA trade deadline. So you can wonder, is Matt Ishbia or Golden State or whoever taking time to be able to use that as leverage? Maybe we can just offer a little bit of less, offer a little less. And
you're not going to offer your number one package right now.
Yeah, or the other side is Miami ain't getting anything better than what Jimmy Butler would produce on the floor if all is well, so maybe they're waiting. this trade has been taking a while. It was supposed to be last week. Didn't you say the Bill Simmons said?
It's true.
Billy said
Bill said it's happening.
It was happening last week. It has not. And so when is it going to happen?
Yeah. And how many teams are actually really trying to get Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
What's coming back? It feels like a third team has to be involved in a lot of these deals.
Yeah.
When you're doing the Suns one, the Warriors one. So who's the third team? What are they hoping out of it? I know the Bulls are coming up as a potential third team. Obviously, we've seen like the Pistons maybe in their cap space. And
the Nets.
So, yeah, a lot to figure out here still. All right, next headline. From The Athletic. LiAngelo Ball lands record label deal following viral hit Tweaker. Is this news train? I will tell you, he signed a deal with Def Jam and Universal Music Group worth as much as $13 million, apparently $8 million guaranteed, and gives Ball full ownership of music and his own record label. So is this newsworthy to you?
Well, it's not NBA news.
Wow.
It's not. He's never played in the NBA.
Okay.
The only thing that's an NBA involved with this is that I've heard on broadcast now, instead of saying a player turns the corner, some broadcasts say a player bends the corner.
Yeah.
So that is NBA influence. But man, I remember when $1 million was a big advance from Def Jam. Big shout out to Jay Electronica. Never dropped an album for Def Jam. I wonder if LiAngelo is. I wonder if he has a second song that's any good.
Apparently he does. Yeah, whether it's good is the real question. I'd be holding my breath. Like he got a viral hit. It's an awesome song.
No doubt.
He tapped into like the nostalgia music scene and all that, but can you replicate that?
Can he do it again? Can he be a LeVar Ball and come out with hit after hit after hit? He's got two sons in the NBA and a son who's a rapper. I would love to hear some classic LeVar Ball bravado. I could out-rap Jay-Z. Guy said he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. What's the difference?
Right.
So yeah, sounds like the early 2000s are back. We're giving huge advances for guys who are unproven, doing some dirty South music. Of course, he's from LA. It doesn't matter. The time is right. It's been 20 years since that music was popular. Bring it back.
Yeah, to me, this is a few things. It reminds me of Master P when he had played a little preseason basketball with the Toronto Raptors. Yep. And he never played in the NBA. Now, LiAngelo Ball did play G League basketball. Yep. He played for the Greensboro Swarm.
Right.
So there's that. There's also, it kind of looks like an NBA contract because part of it's guaranteed and part of it is you get some bonus. Now, I'm not really familiar with the music game. Is that how a lot of music deals are signed? Like, you get this much if you sell this many records or you produce this many records, period.
I don't think a lot of people are getting $13 million for having one song that maybe your brother wrote and, you just sort of dropped and it went viral. I don't think that's happening a lot, but
yeah.
Good for him. I mean, look, amazing that he's couldn't make it in the NBA, but turn it into a pretty NBA-ish like contract.
Yeah, and I shouldn't compare his music career to Master P because Master P had a large music career.
Yes.
But you never know. You never know. This could be the future Master P, I guess.
I will say that I like this helping the chances of LiAngelo Ball performing this at All-Star Weekend. I think we could hear Tweaker over All-Star Weekend, like a live performance. It'd be almost silly at this point not to ask him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
Get him
perfect.
on Saturday.
Especially if LaMelo is
Friday
there
even.
too. It could be fun. So
put him in the celebrity game.
Oh, wow.
He's a celebrity. He's not an NBA player.
He better dominate. But
Def Jam recording artist LiAngelo Ball.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Please call him G3.
G3. I think it's cool. Our friend Dave has already some LiAngelo merch, right? Isn't that his doorstep?
Took me a second to figure out what you were talking about, but yes. My buddy Grish, your buddy Grish, our buddy Grish. He's got twins, so the crew is called G3. He could sue him, honestly. He's been G3 for a while. The kids are over 10.
He scooped him.
Yeah, he may have scooped him. Wow, we'll have to look into that. All right, next headline here. Awful Announcing has the headline, Thunder-Cavaliers showdown garners solid ratings for ESPN. This is the game we were just talking about. Did really well on ESPN, up 20% from the network's game in the same time slot last season. It drew about 1.87 million viewers for Cavs Thunder round one. Tass, is this news though?
I don't think it's news. I got to be honest. Yes, it's a bump up, but I need the books. I need to know how games are viewed. And by that, I mean how they're viewed on apps. Does that count? It obviously doesn't count towards this 1.87 million.
No, this is just the nationally televised
Just
numbers.
nationally. It's changed. The way we consume games has changed. It will continue to change. That is the monstrous TV/app deal that is coming. And I say app because a lot of it will be watched on Peacock. The NBC part of it will be viewed on Peacock. A lot of it will be viewed on Amazon. So I don't think this is newsy news. It is news because everybody said nobody's watching games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I need rating. I need the books for those. I want to understand how everything is consumed, period, before I scrutinize. I am excited for parity in the NBA, and this new CBA is producing that already, and it will continue to produce that, and that just means more good teams. So the basketball is good. As I said, as we talked about the last couple of Memphis Grizzlies game, tiny market, awesome games, spectacular games. Now, they don't get the numbers, or they don't at least get the media reports on numbers because they're not on national TV games, but I don't know who's watching them on apps or on illegal VPNs. No, probably less because it is the Memphis Grizzlies, but they're playing damn good ball, and that's the next version of these reports, I do think.
That's why this might be of note to you or everyone listening or watching, because the biggest rating drivers are the Lakers, big part of that LeBron, of course, the Warriors, big part of that Steph Curry, and then the Celtics as I don't know, is it Luke Cornett? No, they're a winning franchise, right? They have the history. It's those three, generally. So Cleveland, small market, OKC, small market, for them to do, I guess, healthy audience numbers on ESPN is a good sign. When you compare it, I guess they're comparing it to last year's slot, which was like a Pelicans-Warriors game. And so that's a bump up. Yeah.
That to me is the key.
Yeah.
Flexing works. Because I went back and looked at it. They outdrew Pels Warriors last year. New Orleans was in 6th place at the time. The Warriors were in 12th. Meanwhile, on League Pass, we had Timberwolves versus Celtics. Both teams in 1st place. It was the second time they played. The first time was an OT game. That was awesome. The Wolves won it in Minnesota, I think. This one was OT as well. That game should have been on national television. So they learned their lesson and said, we're putting the top two teams on national TV, because the Thunder-Cavs was flexed in, if I'm not mistaken.
It was,
right?
yeah.
That's
a
great call.
Be in the game, so
they need to do more of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so is this Thursday.
Put the best games on. Simple.
Yeah.
OKC Cavs have flexed both their games, both their matchups to national TV. Watching, or thinking about the last 10 years, we've always asked, flex that game, and it really hasn't happened.
But that's the dilemma, because I just told you the markets that push big numbers. Like the Warriors may suck, the Lakers may suck, or whatever, or like a middling 500 team. But it generally doesn't matter because they're going to do bigger draw than some of these teams. But you're for the good of the product. And if you want to get these new names as new stars, be it Shea or Donovan, whoever, yeah, you guys are right. Put it on these nationally televised games. Push them. And they did, for the most part, I would say, on that ESPN game. And they're trying to do that again on TNT when they play again. So that's the move. Quick trivia question off of this, just see if you guys can call the games here. Excluding major event games, so Christmas Day, opening night, and NBA Cup games in Vegas. Get rid of those, okay? Only 3 games this season have had more viewers than that Thunder-Cavs game. Can you name them?
I read the thing.
Okay, he knows. You want to take a crack at it? Wait,
did you exclude opening nights?
yes, no opening
you did.
nights.
Yeah.
One of them involved no dunks, though.
Indeed. Yeah. It's one of the hats off to the NBA for this game.
That's
right. Hats off. Hats off. The waters were smooth.
Yeah, the waters were
Easy sailing.
He mentioned the Warriors as one of the biggest draws.
No, it wasn't Clay.
It was Clay. Clay Thompson's first return to Golden State was one of them. And then we had a Warriors-Celtics game in November. And we had the Cavs-Celtics game in which Boston ended Cleveland's season-opening 15-game win streak. So outside of those 3, when you get rid of the opening night, Christmas, and NBA Cup, this is now one of the bigger watch games.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it's, when you excluded, you didn't add Golden State to the markets. Like the game this game currently, Cleveland, OKC was being compared to from last year. It feels like Golden State gets the markets.
That's what I said.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but
it's Lakers, Warriors, and Celtics. Those. If they're playing, the ratings are generally higher.
Okay.
No matter how good or bad the team is. But it was nice to see this bump. It's a good bump. 20% up. Better than 20% down. All right, next headline here. Final one. by way of The Athletic again. Kevin Harlan nearing deal to call NBA games for Amazon Prime Video. Trey Kirby, is this news?
Yeah, sure. This is news. Wait, up. I'm up on this.
I didn't ask you. Put your thumb down. I don't want to see your thumbs.
I'm up. They got Ian Eagle and Kevin Harlan. They got the best play-by-play duo in the game right now. Amazon's cooking. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's right. So Ian Eagle, the number one play-by-play guy. Harlan, in theory, would be the number 2 guy for Amazon when they start doing the NBA games, because this will be their first NBA rights deal here.
Yeah.
You're impressed? You're pumped?
They're so good. Ever since Kevin Harlan called a game where Thon Maker was playing, and he said, "Thon making his mark." I said yes. I
Simple
hope
as that.
I hope at the the post game meeting somebody poured him a maker's mark. If you wanted it or not, maybe you should be asked if you went before you pour it. But yeah, we talked Ian Eagle. We did the impersonations yesterday of Ian Eagle. The guy is king, along with Harlan, who is the number 2.
Do you guys go Eagle in that order? Eagle, Harlan, and then Breen, I assume? Or do you put Breen above one of those or 2 of those guys? Like, in just your enjoyment of watching a game? Or does it not even matter because they're all so good?
I got Eagle as number 1. That's all I could say. I think Eagle is number 1. Breen brings the big game feel.
Yeah.
Just having him on the call it's Marv Albert all over again. It's like he's the number 1 guy out there. He does the NBA Finals. I liked him better with Van Gundy and Mark. I can't deny it.
Okay.
And Harlan is awesome to listen to. I think he's the guy that gets most excited for a big play.
Yeah. He's sort of our Gus Johnson.
Yes,
right,
I agree.
NBA.
Yeah.
And he's funny as hell too.
Eagle and Breen both call local games. Eagle does the Nets, and Breen has been spectacular calling Knicks. And you shared something where the Knicks were playing the Jazz. Trey, you shared this clip that somebody put together of Breen saying, "Jordan Clarkson, that was a bad shot. Jordan Clarkson, clunker." He didn't use the word clunker. I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying that over and over again in one game. He's okay to say that. And I think that's incredible. Eagle is also incredible. I mean, they're all good.
Yeah.
They're all so good.
Amazon is building a solid little media roster here as they get ready. I mean, like we're saying, Eagle and now Harlan, and they got their studio show coming together. But they need some analysts now. Now you got your number 1 and number 2 play-by-play guys. Now I'm interested to see who will be the analysts alongside them. Lots of rumors of Wade. Yeah. Go on, what were you going to say?
No, the Wade talk.
Yeah.
The Blake and Dirk talk was not.
Well, their studio show.
Studio,
they might get reps, I guess, but no, there'll be more studio with Taylor Brooks. Yeah, so we'll see. Okay, let's go to Pick'em, where I continue to struggle. I'm 1-7 now. I still have time. We're only halfway through January, so I'm not technically out of it, but it's getting bleak. So I need a victory tonight, Tass. Let's go.
Yeah, January's always the longest month, right? You come back from holidays.
Tied, but yes.
Yeah. It's what?
Tied.
Yes.
There's a bunch of other 31-day months out there.
No, I know. Thanks. But
it feels the longest.
It does. It does. Oh, gosh, you got to work the entire month. Anyway, ATL going into Chicago here. It's a no-dunks game. We got to use it. Bulls are only favored by 1.5. It's strictly a pick 'em.
Bulls are favored.
Yeah,
I was surprised too.
I mean, it's a back-to-back.
It's a back-to-back for the
team back.
Yeah, Atlanta's got to travel though. Chicago does not. So I've got Atlanta. Ash has Atlanta. Trey's got Chicago, as we expect. And Skeets, you're joining. Why are you joining?
Oh, yeah.
Why are you joining the Bulls ride?
Just because. Just do the opposite. Do the opposite with the Bulls. Yeah, they're not good, but that means they'll win tonight.
Yeah.
But then the problem is I'm backing them, so that means they'll lose. So, that's where, between a rock and a hard place. I don't know. I just felt like I got to make up a game or two. Look, I'm not catching you probably, so I know I have to catch Trey or Esh. I knew one of them would take the Hawks, so I'll have to side with the Bulls. I figured it'd be Esh, not Trey, but we'll find out.
You're only 3 games back.
I know. No, incredibly, there is time to get back into this.
1 month.
I'm telling you. I didn't know that there are other months with 31 days until today.
That's why February just flies by so short.
Yeah, no leap year this year. We're chilling.
Oh yeah, no leap year.
Yeah.
Easy year this year. Just a cool 365. Great stat from John Greenberg, our colleague at The Athletic. He tweeted last night, the Bulls are 18-22. After 40 games last year, they were 18-22.
Yep.
The season before, they were 19-21.
Oh, yeah.
But If the Bulls win tonight, they will be 19-22 through 41 games for 3 straight years.
Wow, that's a lock it in. Bulls tonight.
They're addicted to mid.
Bulls win tonight, but my luck, they'll win by 1 point. We won't cover.
Well, I think, let's see here. The Hawks are 1 game above 500 as well.
Yeah. The Hawks have to lose.
They have to.
This is all going to work out. Again, my concern is the Bulls are going to win by 1 point.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen.
So everything will come true, but we'll still lose. But anyway, we'll find out. And you can join us tonight for some of that Bulls-Hawks action. We're on playback. Boys are back tonight. We're going to go live around 8:30 p.m. Eastern as we watch the end of the early games and fire up some of the later games. So we'll be on for an hour or two. So hit that link in the show notes. Join our playback room and hang out with us and the playback stream team as we watch and talk about the games. Always have a blast. So we'll do that tonight here on a Wednesday night. So join us, please. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, January isn't the longest month. It's got 31 days. But there's some others that do have 31 as well.
What do you consider the second longest? March?
Ooh, it's a 30, right? Oh, it's a 31, yeah.
No, not March. Give me the other ones.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know them. Somebody sing the song.
July, October.
October is pretty long. October is pretty long.
Yeah, but the 31st day is such a hit.
You're right. Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about October. They really make you wait for it. We're saying we're giving you our best day, last day.
Yeah.
Okay.
July's 31st.
July's long.
It's long.
Yeah. But in a good way.
Yeah.
Let us know your top 3 longest months of the year.
We'll see you tonight on Playback or hear from the Classic Factory tomorrow. Embrace the day, people.